Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 271. My name is Chris Fricchio, and I'm here with Travis Baum.
Did you say 271?
Did I? 471. I'm going back to the old days, guys. Travis Baum.
Hey, that was a good episode.
How's it going?
It probably was a good episode. Who knows? And Jeff Chorney.
What up, guys? I am calling in from the local pound, as you can tell from the background noise.
I think it came in on the intro too. I hope so. Anyway,
yeah, I was going to comment on that.
Because we're bringing the barks.
We're bringing the yappy dogs. I tried
to get Who Let the Dogs Out, but it was a little too expensive.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the budget.
DMX maybe. Oh wait, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Too soon.
If an artist is dead, you can steal their music, right? Because they can't do anything.
What are they going to do?
Loud, yeah. What, are they going to fight you?
What are they going to do? Haunt me? Get out of here.
Interactive Distractions does not condone the stealing of dead artists' music.
Yeah, only living people's music are you allowed to steal.
That's right. Yeah. So they can come after you.
That's fair game.
I own Beat It Now. I own it.
Oh man!
All right, we're going to talk about some games today, but we're doing gotta check in on everybody first. And Jason, what's up, man? How are you?
Last week I showed off the new leverless. I apparently have a sickness again.
Oh, don't tell me you bought another one.
Maybe I did.
Oh no.
The Empress, this is an all metal one that just came out. I was waiting for this one to come out, and then it never did. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll get the T series, because it's bigger. That's the size that I want. And then seriously, like 2 days ago, the fucking M Plus came out, and I'm like, all right, I got to get that
Surprise!
too.
Gotta get it.
But now I'm going down another hole. You know how I've talked about arcade buttons and shit like that many times on the show. There's just as many, if not more, types of switches for keyboards which fit into these things. So it's like I've got the Khaled Chalk version 2 Ghosts on order now, and it's like this is supposed to be quieter. They're supposed to be quieter because the Ghost series, and they're smoother. They're linear. They're not tactile. They're not clicky. They're linear. Ugh, God damn it! I hate myself, and my wallet hates me.
You're going deep into a dangerous territory,
Jason. Seriously, and it's not even the intended way. Like most people buy keyboards or have keyboards for this type of shit. I have these flat arcade panel things. It's I'm not using it for its intended purposes.
It makes you happy, though, right?
Yes, it does.
That's right. It makes you
happy. It does. It makes me very happy.
Retail therapy.
Yes.
Good stuff. Anybody else got anything going on?
I got my Ren Fair costume all done.
Oh, nice. What
you got your fairy wings and yes.
Yeah. I'm actually going as the No Rain Bumblebee from the video. I don't know why I made that joke. That makes absolutely no sense.
That's so funny though.
I went standard fare villager, so I have
so not Ren Fair villager. Standard
so I have
fare.
I have a very true. Yeah. I have a kind of like a medieval shirt. I'm going to bust that bad boy open. I shave my chest, so it's going to be nice and like well groomed and manicured.
Because they waxed a lot in medieval times.
Manicured? Your chest is manicured?
They had razors in medieval times. It counts. It's okay. And then I have 2 brown bracers for my wrists, and then I have some brown boots and some brown boot covers to go over them and look really good. And then I got some dark like olive green pants to go with it to give it a little bit more color. Okay. So very basic standard fare. And what I want to do is every time I go to the Ren Fair, I'm going to buy one accessory. and
Yes,
add it to the costume and stuff like that.
You got to be careful on what accessories you're buying though, because some of them can get really, really expensive. Like there was a time when we went through Crystal and I went through different phases. Like I went through a dragon puppet phase because they have those dragon puppets that go on your shoulder.
Those are so expensive.
And they've got the cables and that can control the head and the wings and shit. Like really cool. But those things, like if you want like a high quality starting
$300,
you're talking it starting at 200 and going up from there. And then Crystal was very much into the corset direction. She was looking at different corsets and different dresses to go with them and stuff like that. And some of them can be very expensive.
That's something you can use, in the bedroom. True. Well, I suppose you could use the dragon in the bedroom too, but they're kind of feathery and tickly.
We have not gone down that route.
Okay,
that's not. Yeah, we have.
If you do, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know about that. Okay.
It doesn't breathe fire, but it does spit. So watch out.
Oh.
Oof! Ouch! Now, okay. What else, guys?
That's it.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anything major to talk about this week. Got my phone. So this is the Fold.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty neat.
That looks thick, boy.
It is. But I got a case on it already.
Wait, no. So slap it together again.
Oh, that sound is satisfying, isn't it?
Chris, give me a little bit more of a comprehensive review on this because I have been interested in one of these phones. I've been staying away from Gen 1 and 2 because everybody knows Gen 1 and 2 phones. They're working out the kinks.
This is the fourth iteration.
So that's why I'm interested. So now they've had some time to work on it.
And I've only had it for a few days so far, but I really so far I'm enjoying using it. I find that like this little super narrow screen on the front, I don't necessarily use that as much.
Sure.
But I certainly do open it up and then you turn it this way and you're essentially looking at a 4x3 screen.
A 4x3,
right?
yeah.
So everything looks really great on it. The multitasking is great because you open it up and you throw one thing over here and one thing over here, and it's been pretty good. But I'm also gonna pimp one thing. So this is what do they call it? Amazon Renewed.
Okay,
it's a refurbish from Amazon directly. And this is like the third or fourth time I've done this with a phone.
Oh, you're going to jinx yourself, my friend.
I might, but so far so good. This is an $1,800 phone, and I got it for about $800.
Okay.
And so far it's been
it's a hell of a savings.
The screen is pretty perfect. I haven't seen any dead pixels, no unusual lines or anything like that. The hinge is great. So far so good. I also bought two different Samsung Galaxy S10 Pluses.
And just duct tape them together, and you got your Fold.
That's right there. You got the Fold.
Yeah.
But I have one of those, and my wife has one of those. Or that was my previous phone. And yeah, I mean that's the way to go, man. I am convinced that I am never buying a brand new phone again.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you.
I'm just going to do it this way. It's just they're too expensive, and I don't feel like they're worth the money that they're asking for.
Yeah, I've gotten in the habit of trading in, the previous seasons or whatever, and that helps an awful lot. We've been doing that for the past couple generations with my phone, and I've been happy with it. But I think you're right. Refurbs are really not all that bad. Usually you can. I'm sure you can get burned, but
yeah, absolutely. I am sure there are situations where you get the wrong refurb and you just happen to get like a lemon type phone or whatever.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll say is we are at a point in the lifespan of the mobile segment where the performance jump from one generation to the next, or I should say 1 year to the next, because not really generations, it's every year now, is really minimal. Like I had my Galaxy S10 Plus for 5 years, and I've never had any performance issues with it. Like everything was always pretty snappy. I never felt like I was waiting for anything. Now I can tell that this is faster, but it's not blazing, compared to the other one.
Yeah.
So, I would say whether you're an Android or an Apple guy, like, you know, I was all about the new shiny for a pretty long time up until the S10 Plus. And then I kind of backed off it, and I don't miss it at all. Like, you don't have to upgrade every year. You can go 3-4 years with no problem. So, you know, just don't waste your money on that shit, man. So, and if you're gonna get something new, Amazon Renewed is doing pretty good for me. So there you go. My public service announcement of episode 471.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Pro tip.
Yep. Let's talk some games.
Okay.
Yeah. What do we got? Do we want to start with the big one, or do we want to start with some of the smaller stuff?
What's the big one?
I would think Stellar Blade is the big one.
Oh, is it mine? I'll start off with mine. Hades 2.
Nice.
So I'm
talk to me.
playing the early access. Jumped into that. Luckily, it plays on my computer, so yippee.
Nice.
And so a little bit of backstory, and also I want to ask you guys about your history with Hades 1. So I played a lot of Hades 1. I put maybe 250 hours into it, got the true ending. Really loved it. Loved that game for all it's worth. I mean, I was a Supergiant fanboy before this game, and then they can do no wrong in my eyes. Post Hades 1. So, I mean, and you guys are all everybody here has played Hades, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Just as much.
I did not beat it.
If not more. Yeah,
I didn't beat it either.
All right. So Hades 2, going into it, I just kind of like cleared all expectations of what I was looking for in this game. Because I just kind of want to have an open mind, because I just kind of did a mini run through of Hades 1 probably 2 weeks ago. So Hades 1 is super, super fresh in my mind. I found myself actually about 5-6 hours into it, actually being a little bit underwhelmed, but not in a terrible way, because this game is great. It does exactly everything that Hades 1 did. And that's all good. So there's no foul there whatsoever. So Hades 2 is fantastic. If you like Hades 1, you're going to love Hades 2. The reason I'm just a little bit underwhelmed, and I don't know if it's just luck of the draw with my boons or anything like that, but I'm getting like hardly any synergy whatsoever. And it's just kind of messing around with the enjoyment of my game. I'm making some decent progress when I do get some synergy. I've made it to the final boss one time. Yet to get it clear. Right. I've yet to get it clear. I'm about 14, 15 runs into the game. But yeah, yet to reach the finish line. Everything that you expect about it is going to be good. The combat's phenomenal. Weapons are interesting. Enemies, bosses, the world's beautiful. The story is just constantly drip fed every time you end a run and go back to your home base. That's all there. It's all exactly the same. You play as a new character called Melanoe. You're not Zagreus anymore. You're Zagreus' sister. And not to spoil too much what's going on, but there's a lot of bad happening on Olympus and everything like that. And her family is missing, so she has to basically go and find them and everything, and you're fighting Kronos, the Titan of Time, to try to take him down so you can get your family back. So it is a very, very similar premise, very, very similar game, and that's why I just found myself a little bit underwhelmed. And I don't know if it's because I just came off of Hades 1 again, but I felt like that was going to be more of a boon than anything, because it was going to allow me to compare and contrast a little bit better. Yeah. But it left me. I was playing earlier today, and I'm like, this game is good. It's great even. But the one thing I loved about Supergiant Games is that after their last game, they always jump to a new IP. Yeah. They're one and done. And I'm playing this game, and I'm like, it's good. I like it. I'm going to put a couple of 100 hours into it. I just wish they did a new IP. That's what I'm thinking the entire time I'm playing this game. And it does.
It's interesting you say that, because I was just thinking about the fact that they've never really done a sequel. And this is an unusual step for them. And is it because like Hades did so well compared to the other stuff? Like I don't know the reasoning behind it.
Has to be the case.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would think. Yeah.
It's just really, really samey, and I expected it up to a point. Now, things that are different are improvements. So, for instance, magic casting in the first Hades game, I never used casting because it just felt I never could find a boon or some kind of synergy that made it powerful enough for me. So I just avoided it. And casting used to be you would throw these red diamonds out at enemies. They would hit an enemy and they would cause some sort of debuff or damage boost for you. That's completely gone. So now everything is done by spells. So every attack button that you have, your strong attack, your light attack, and you also have a cast attack. Every time you press them, you're going to do a normal move from them. But every time that you hold those buttons down, no matter what button you hold down, it's going to channel and cast a spell. And now there's MP on top of HP, and you have to manage your magic points as well too. So that's probably the biggest departure from the last game. And I think the game's better for it. It does force you into playing with casts and playing with the channeled spells, for better or for worse, because sometimes I have a build and all I want to do is just attack because like the build calls for it. There are these special moves called hexes. So if you use like a certain, like say you have a hex that fires this laser beam that does massive damage, the only way you can activate that hex is by spending 80 magic points in one round. So if you use those 80 points up, then you'll get the notification that you can use your hex, hit R2, and then it fires a blast. So there are more avenues for damage causing. I'm just struggling because I've not received the synergies that I'm looking for, and I'm hitting brick walls over and over again, or just find myself in level 3 and doing 0 damage to enemies because of lack of synergy. So it's a little bit of a struggle. I think I'm mostly positive on it. I think I'm kind of leaning like 60% positive just because of the fact that it is Hades. It is good. It seems pretty feature complete for early access. I'm going to be honest with you. There is a lot in this game. Apparently
the last one was pretty feature complete when it was in early access. There was just a lot of tweaking that went on afterwards.
Yeah, I've already seen a couple of version changes on the screen. Cool. So they're definitely hot fixing as they go. But I feel like I'm just harping so negative on this game.
I don't think it's a negative, dude. I think it's a lot like I had the same thing with Ragnarok, God of War, and I think it's because like 2018 God of War was so good and so like they changed everything up. It was awesome. And Ragnarok was so much more the same with like minute improvements here and there and quality of life stuff that it didn't seem like that much of a jump. And I had the same feeling. Like I would never tell somebody Ragnarok's a bad game, or I would even say technically it's a better game than 2018. Yeah. Sure. But 2018 was a bigger impact, and I guess you can say that with all sequels, but sometimes they more or less do feel like a 1.5 more than a totally new game, and I can totally see that. It's not necessarily inherently negative. It's just kind of I get it. and it technically is that, right? It's technically it's Hades 1.9. So yeah, I feel you. There's something about playing a great game for the first time and feeling a sense of refreshment from it. And I think that's what God of War 2018 gave you. And there's nothing refreshing about Hades 2. There's not enough for me to be like, that's a sequel move right there. I've yet to come across that. And there's a lot more to do. Like you can craft, technically the crafting is just replacing the contractor from the first game. So you can technically say there's crafting now, but it's just replacing another element from the last game. You can plant items into the ground for other resources. So like you can farm. It's super, super low maintenance. It's not very, you have to upgrade your home base and you upgrade them with these materials. So they're important. It's just very, very easy to get them. Now you have tools also. So when you pick your weapon, you're also going to pick a tool. There's like pickaxes, fishing poles, a spade. And depending on so every time that you go out and pick your weapon, you also have to pick what you're going to be going for your resources. So you can check your resources and be like, I'm super, super low on stones. Okay, so you're taking the pickaxe. So there's just a lot of easy ways to kind of tell what you need for your next run. But generally, that's kind of it. 9-10 hours into it, chipping away. Maybe I'll feel better when I get a clear.
We don't know when that's fully releasing, right? There's no actual
They
release
said
date
at
yet?
least through this year they're going to be in early access.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Core.
Maybe I'll go back to the
correct.
first one. I'll hit you guys up with some tips because I really had issues with the first one. Now, I mean, I liked it, but I was telling Travis
just about getting the best run, like the good synergy and whatever. Yeah,
I didn't get the synergy. That's the thing. I didn't know how to get the synergy because I was telling Travis off that I would think I was doing well, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool, I beat the first boss." And I'd look at I've been playing this is like 15 hours. And I don't know how many runs, like 30 runs. And then someone's like, oh, yeah, the first boss was hard. It took me like 10 runs to get past. I'm like, God damn it.
It's super.
I'm like, I am doing something wrong.
That's super demoralizing when you hear that, man. I get it.
I'm just I'm done.
I did. So when I did this new run of Hades, I had my previous save there as well. And I knew that I completed my first clear on run 18. I remember it on my very, very first run of Hades on PlayStation on Hades 1.
18, so you restarted 18 times and beat the game.
No. I got my first clear at run 18.
Oh, gotcha.
That's
okay.
I was
way above 18.
Less than I did. I was probably like 50
way
runs
less
or
than
something.
me too.
But when I did this recent playthrough, I didn't get my first clear until like 26, 27. So I'm like, how did I regress? How did I get worse at this game? What happened?
I don't think that's what it's about. I don't think that's what it's about. It's about there's a lot of RNG in there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. Anyway, thanks for picking me back up, guys. I was going to a very dark place there for a second, and you guys lifted me right out of it.
Well, help me out because you fucking bummed me out about Hades 2. Thanks a lot, Travis. So
it's good. And if you haven't played Hades 1 in a while, you still might be refreshed by it.
Okay.
Like remember, I just came off of replaying Hades 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. You'll get that burnout a little bit.
It's really good. It's really good. And the music, oh my God. Let me throw out a couple of good positive things because there is more positive. Obviously, the music, Darren Korb, killing it. This soundtrack is way better than Hades 1. Wow. And I've played a fraction of this game. It's so good. There are even boss fights that use music as a part of it. It is so good. So yeah, no spoilers there. You have to experience it on your own. It's very, very good. And also right there, it's a great segue to the bosses. I actually find the bosses way more enjoyable in Hades 1. And I find there to be, since I've experienced every grunt enemy on a run, there's maybe one enemy out of the entire game where when I see it pop up, I go, oh, not this guy again. Where I had like 5 or 6 of those guys in Hades 1. So the enemies are a lot more tolerable, but I do find the game harder. Like
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, the game's harder, but it's harder, but there's a lot less fuckery from the enemies.
Okay, that I can handle. I don't mind that. Yeah.
So that's Hades 2 so far. I'll talk about it more next week, and hopefully it's a little bit brighter. But yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna look into that. I want to hear more. I am gonna go back to the first one. I have it on the Switch, but I think I'm going to buy it on something else.
I think
just because I
check and see. It might be on that sale that's ending.
That's
today,
happening now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'll check after
Hades
this.
1. I know right now it's like 60% off on Steam. If you're getting PC,
Steam,
it's like it's like $8.
I get it on PlayStation or Xbox. It used to be on the fucking subs, but that was a while ago, I guess.
I sank a lot of time into the early access of the first one. So I think I'm going to wait this time around because I didn't immediately jump back into Hades 1.0 when it first came out because I had not burnt myself out, but it just like I had played it a lot. So I might wait for 1.0 on Hades 2 this time around, I think, just to so I get the full or maybe more complete experience, I guess.
That's fair.
Balanced at least,
Yeah. Yeah,
PSN has the original still at $25 right now.
That actually could be a lot
of.
of my issues too. The game could be wildly unbalanced, and they have to fix it too. So I didn't really think about that.
And that's why you're talking about it being feature complete. The early access is how they often will determine the balancing of some of the enemies.
Yep.
In games like this. So I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Game isn't done yet, Travis. Jesus,
it ain't done. It ain't done. Who's next?
All the new stuff is coming soon.
I can talk about Stellar Blade.
Okay.
More. I want to talk about Stellar Blade more.
Let's talk about Stellar Blade.
I really love Stellar Blade.
I played it
It's
too.
really good. Yes, you did. It's okay. So as of like yesterday, it was easily going to be my game of the year so far. I mean, so far, huge caveat. It's that and Helldivers 2 are literally like could be 1 and 2, and depending on the day that I've played so far. And I gotta say, today I wanted to throw my PlayStation 5 out the window.
Man. I've
multiple times.
I have traveled this trail, Jeff Torney.
Dude. And here's the thing: like, I have not had any issues with this game difficulty wise up until a certain point. Like, has it been hard? Yes. Has it been can you overcome it? 100%. Like, sure. I'm not afraid of boss fights in this game. I like the pairing. I find it kind of relaxing in a way, weirdly, and I get kind of like a zen. Yeah. Well, hold on.
It's kind of zen. You get into a groove.
It's kind of satisfying,
Like, I kind of like kind of getting the patterns down and being like, here it comes, and like ding 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 ding, and then fuck them up. And I was also doing a lot of the side stuff too, so I think I might have been getting a little bit powerful for when I was moving forward the story in terms of the power of my the blade anyway. So at least I was doing more damage than I normally would, and that's great. It's awesome. The side quest bosses I actually find harder. They seem to hit harder. But anyway,
Agreed.
So yesterday I get to a chapter. Fuck this chapter right up the butthole. It from beginning to end, this chapter sucks ass. And it starts with what should be a really fun, cool traversal segment.
Oh.
It turns into the traversal segment from hell.
Yep. This is what I warned you about, like in Discord.
Before, like,
Mm-hmm.
And it is so unfairly hard that we talked about the tree in Ori, because the tree level in Ori, you had to memorize literally every single jump for the entirety of that level. This is like that in a way, but you can't see what is causing you damage in time. And you have to stay on a path that's basically blue. Blue doesn't hurt you. Red hurts you. The problem with the lighting is the red is so bright. When the blue gets kind of smaller, it looks red, or like a light shade of red. So that's one thing that hurts. The other is objects come to the screen very quickly. And if you hit one, it does that thing where you get hit by one, you fall, you roll, you get up, you get hit by one, you fall, you roll. And if you don't happen to, and if you don't fall, happen to be where there's health, they do give you some health drops, thank God. That's where I basically had to memorize where the health drops were. And then when I knew I was going to fucking eat shit, I just tried to make sure it was close to where there's going to be health. Yeah. And then I was like, I got past that. And I bitched to these guys in our Discord, and I was like, fuck this part. And once I stopped bitching, I beat it. And right after that, you fight a boss. I was actually relieved that it was a boss fight after that. It wasn't a hard boss. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a hard boss. One shot, it's fine. After that, there is another shitty platforming traversal segment. I'm not going to ruin anything. I'll just say green lasers and crates. That's all I'm going to say there.
It's shorter than you would expect.
It is. Yeah. But when you first get to it is daunting as shit.
I was stepped away a couple times. For sure. And I had to look something up. There was a trick to it. I didn't realize it at first, and I'm like, this made it so much easier.
Yep.
I'm like,
we're probably talking about the exact same thing. It seems so obvious too.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, it made it so much easier.
Yep.
And then there's a little bit of, just regular level stuff. And then there is another horse shit traversal part. And I'm just going to say rockets and having to take cover. And that part, I wanted to throw my controller across, and then
that part
I just said, fuck it.
I got through that part pretty easily, I think, because I did it slowly, I think.
Yeah,
and maybe that was it.
I started slowly, and then when I said fuck it and just got impatient and just
that's probably not the way to
that's
go.
when I did it.
Yeah.
That's when I actually made it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't run the entire course in one go, but I would run like the first like quarter, and then wait a bit, then run like the next quarter and wait a bit. So it wasn't before I was just going thing to thing. And then the problem is, if you go thing to thing, there's some enemies on the map. And if the enemies come at you, this is like you're moving in combat. And the second you move where the missiles can hit you, it's a one-hit kill, by the way, too, I guess, depending on how they hit you. Oh my God, I died so many fucking times.
This sounds awful.
Dude, I'm telling you, this stretch of gameplay has been the worst of the game so far. Other than that, I'd give it like a fucking like the highest of praise. This game, I love it. And then I get to this boss that I started this afternoon, bitched to you guys about. After dinner, I tried for an hour and a half straight to beat this motherfucker, and I still haven't done it. And I refuse to put down a difficulty so far because I'm getting there, and I do some runs where I think I'll do it, and then something happens and he just fucks me up. So it's not like he's totally obliterating me. But the issue I have with it is there's 3 phases, and okay, so you remember those things we talked about the other day where you can use once per life to bring yourself back?
Yep.
So you can hold on to like 3 of them, or so. I can't remember how many you can hold on to.
Oh, it's a shit ton actually. But you can only use 1 per rest.
Yeah.
Okay, you can use 1 per rest.
Carry 1.
Yes, exactly. So I only had 3 on my person, but I didn't think that was a big a deal because you can buy them from the vendor. So I got to the point where I was kind of treating it like a shmup, where it's like if I knew I wasn't going to be in a good spot on his first phase, I would not use it. Yeah, I would wait, and I would make sure to only use it on like the 2nd or 3rd phase. And I ran out of the first 3. I'm like, okay, cool. I bought 3 more at the vendor, stopped playing, came back, did it again, ended up having to use all 3 at some point. So I had 0, went back to the vendor. I can't buy anymore. It's out of stock.
Yeah.
It doesn't revert back to the save where you had all 3. And this part of the game, you are stuck in this level. You can't go back. It gives you a warning before you go to this part of the game. It says, make sure to clean up anything you want to right now before moving past this part. And I thought nothing of it. I'm like, okay, cool. It's probably like a short level or whatnot. No. So now I am stuck without any of those. So I got to work down this motherfucker for all 3. And he ain't going to go down with me bitching, that's for sure. So you guys are the ones who have to put up with it until I take him out. But
so something I wanted to bring up that I didn't get a chance to talk about last week is the difficulty and going to story mode. It's an adaptive story mode. Like, it's not like easy win mode. It's not training wheels the entire fucking time. It won't actually come up until you've missed a few parries. Like,
until the game knows you suck.
Until the game knows that you messed something up, and it's like, okay, you need some help here with that one. But if you play it how you normally would play it, then no difference really. You're still hitting your parries. It's not slowing down time or anything like that. Which
I must suck because the prompts still come up like crazy, and I thought I was pretty good at parrying. I think story mode. I tried it for one boss. I think story mode is unplayable. I honestly do. Like, the prompts are too. They're too frequent. They're too frequent, and it's too much of a reminder that you're not playing the game correctly.
I think that you're letting that get in the way of the benefit.
It is what it is. I just can't have fun. I cannot allow myself to have fun if I have easy mode prompts coming in, saving me from every attack.
It's
just
shame.
not fun.
It's
not fun.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'll see. I'm gonna try for another. I'll give it at least another hour, probably.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's not running me over. I'm not getting decimated. I'm consistently getting to the end of the second phase to the third. And the third phase, he really turns up. And this is something that I think if people are scared because of difficulty, this game doesn't do what a lot of Soulsborne games do, which is really, really like I can see why people would get frightened by it or get turned off. Is
you don't get it doesn't punish you a lot. It doesn't.
The bosses don't bum rush you when they knock you down every single time. So if they knock you down, chances are you're going to be able to get up and gather yourself before you re-engage. Except for this motherfucker in his third phase.
Nice.
And the problem is you're not used to that, and it's like a 1 or 2 hit and you're dead. And you don't have time to pop a heal if you do not parry one of those hits wrong or dodge out of the way. You're getting fucked. But I love the fucking game, man. I love the combat so much, and
it's really good.
It's super well designed.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point. I'm still super early, so I think all of you are ahead of me right now. I'm currently in like the second batch of side quests in Zion.
Okay, yeah.
So
they refresh it like probably 2-3 times. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I almost have I still have 2 skill trees that are locked. But I almost have everything unlocked on the other 3 skill trees.
Yeah.
So I'm having a lot of fun with the especially with I really love the different ways that you can start an encounter. You guys talked about, first of all, you talked about the stealth stuff last week, and I hadn't even messed with that because I wasn't far enough into the wasteland to realize how often you get the opportunity to mess with that
there
stuff.
in particular.
Yeah, and I unlocked that. I unlocked the double stealth kill, and then I found like Jason, you were talking about the equipment that she gets, that the camouflage equipment that basically decreases their field of view. Their field of view, and then if you power that up, when you get a kill, you get like 15% of your health back. Like that's amazing. Like so, there's a lot of little things that they're adding that are making it more satisfying to do all these things. But my favorite thing to do is to just to sprint into a fight I know I'm going to have to take head on, and you just hold down triangle and she does that jump attack, and then the combination that she throws out, and it really, really feels really, really good.
One of my favorite things to do is this is a game of not necessarily parrying all the time, but interrupting attacks. If they're going to be doing a big attack, I'll do my L1 and triangle, which or circle, and that'll do a range attack. But on the third hit, it knocks them down. So it's like you kind of come in, you do your ranged attack, third attack brings them down, then you hold forward and triangle, and you'll just jump in, and you can continue attacking there. And it's got such a cool flow to the combat when you start stringing some of this shit together. It's neat. When
you get the burst powers, those are good too, because each burst power that you hit with takes away one of their parry pips. And you can work those into as combo enders.
Yep.
And it's great. It makes because you do the biggest damage by getting those parries down and then hitting them with that triangle attack.
Yep.
And it makes it so much quicker to do that. Once you get those bursts, you'll get that open up in the story, Chris. So it's not like something you get.
I literally just got the double jump, so
I still somehow have a knack of doing the parry retribution when there is a tick left before they rage out, and they don't lose all the health. They just lose a tick of health. And
sorry, what?
So that situation I was complaining about with Final Fantasy Remake, where you build up the super move, but their health is at a point where they're right before their their phase change.
I see
and
what you mean.
they stop taking damage at the phase change. I keep on getting the parry retribution, the big damage move, right at the point of the phase change, and it only takes away a tick of health when it should be like 15,
a whole bar,
20% of the health.
Or not a whole bar, but yeah.
It's happened at least on 3 bosses. Like
that sucks.
3 different bosses and everything. And it drives me insane.
It sucks because you suck. I'm sorry.
It's just like, for me, like, see, now Jason's mad at me because I don't like his game.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. I'm giving you shit because you're refusing to like bring it down to like a story level. You're saying that you can't have fun unless you're being challenged. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's not necessarily challenged. Like I can't have fun when I have easy mode prompts constantly stopping and interrupting my gameplay and reminding me.
But you don't get those
like,
unless you're playing better, right? Like if you're playing better, then that's what I was trying to get across is that it's an adaptive story mode. If you're doing well, like if you're learning the attacks, and that's what I use story mode for, is to learn the attacks. Once you've learned those attacks, and you start parrying and dodging, when you should, those prompts don't come up at all. So it's a matter of like, like spending your time with the story mode, like learning those attacks and then implementing it. And that's what was fun to me, is like putting all that shit into perspective and into motion. That's where it was fun.
You're speaking Souls like progression. So I hear everything that you're saying. Like I totally get it. It's so,
I know I get it, because I have no problem putting something down to easy either. But I sympathize with what Travis is saying, because if you were constantly getting like tutorial like pauses while you're in a battle,
right? But
I get it, because he can learn the patterns that way,
right?
But at some point, you just want to be like, he just I think he just doesn't want to.
He saw them
if it went
3
easier,
times.
he wouldn't care.
I get it. I get it. Okay.
I saw the prompt to move to story mode like early on, and then I think I saw it twice, and then I never saw it again. Is it something that continues?
He's talking about
I've never seen it.
This is something else. So this is when you're in story mode and you're about to fail like a parry or a dodge or something like that, it'll slow down and it'll just say hit L1. It'll give you a quick time event essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's only when you're in story mode. This isn't prompting you to revert to story mode or anything like that. So.
It's not saying like, hey, you want to try out story mode? Maybe you want to try out story mode.
God, nothing makes me more mad when a video game does that. Oh my God.
I got that twice early on, and apparently
is it
you don't have to get it. So
is it a pairing thing with each other? Is that what you're having the most issue with? Is the pairing timing? I'm just wondering, because you seem to not really like pairing in general, except for like Liza P. That was one I remember you really liked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I've taken out 5 side bosses, all the main bosses except for one, which I played on story mode. All utilizing the parry system and stuff like that, working my way up, and usually takes about 3 tries. So like I'm beating it. I'm just frustrated that like I do feel that the pairing windows are like
tight.
I find myself constantly going, bullshit, I block that. Bullshit, I block that. Bullshit, I block that.
I feel that way too.
Constantly. And I hate repeating that in my head when I'm playing.
See, that's interesting, because like you are really good at the Soulsborne games, like the ones that are like dodge heavy. I'm not. I have a problem with dodging attacks in this game and in Souls games, but I don't have that much. And Wolong was the same way, because I think you didn't like it in that as well. And I beat Wolong. And I find it interesting that I like the pairing stuff, and the pairing ones are the ones that I'm not as afraid of. But you give me the first time fighting an Elden Ring boss or a Dark Souls boss, and I fucking struggle. Like I do not like dodging. I don't like dodging in this too. I do not like the dodging.
I'm definitely better at more Soulsborne gameplay than
like
parrying gameplay
based
but
ones.
Yeah, I generally don't have too many issues with parrying. My hatred of parrying came from Sekiro, and I just won't play that game again. So,
yeah,
they need a story mode in that game.
Makes sense. They need to slow down that game.
They need to slow
give them prompts. Oh fuck. But other than I have anything else? Oh god, I did want to bring up. I need to ask Jason because neither of these guys would have done this mini game yet. What did you think of the mini game where you have to use the blue and orange, pipes, and they kind of crisscross in certain areas? But
that happened once.
Okay,
and that's part of the reason why I said last week everything happens in moderation. Because that is one of the shittier fucking minigame things.
Sucks.
It sucks because it took me like 20 minutes to figure out just what the fuck was going on. Like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
Why is this working and not that working? But once I got it, I eventually forced my way through it. Yeah. And that was the only time that you had to fucking do it in the game.
Okay, because even when I kind of figured it, my brain would not like grasp it. It was like I just went dumb. I'm just like, I completed that and I went, oh, and just went to the next one. Yeah. I must have tried like 15 times. I'm like, oh my, and God,
that was stupid.
Speaking of moderation, and I didn't know, and I'm hoping one of you guys didn't realize this either, but there's a certain chest that you can unlock that you have to decode.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know you could freely decode them until you get to one where they force you to do later in the game. It's the ones with all the different arrows, like up, down, left, right.
Yep.
Okay, fuck those, man. Okay, the ones that go in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are easy.
You can be a pain in the ass.
The other ones,
I didn't know you could do them.
I skipped all of the other ones. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm not getting what's in this chest. I'm moving on.
Like maybe you can luck out. Maybe you can luck out, and your last 3 are all up, and you go up, like, and you can get it. But like,
I can't even get that far.
Yeah.
Oh, I've gotten them, but it's usually after 2 or 3 tries, and I've got like this much time left. Like when, you know.
Yeah, it's a sliver. I've done 2 of them, and then I've skipped every one ever since.
I didn't even know you could do them. I didn't even try to do them because I didn't know they would pop up on the screen. I'm like, what does it want me to do here?
And it's all the symbols.
And you know, the first one you get to, it's like you try and go in order, and you go error, and it shuts you down.
That's what. So I was like, okay, I thought you had to upgrade your drone to do it or something, and I'm like, and then when they force you to do that one, I'm like, oh my god. I like walked by someone, but yeah, that wasn't fun. It sounds like it's more than nitpicking. The game is not perfect. It's got some.
No, it's
definitely not perfect.
Yeah,
it has some frustrating.
It's fun.
I had such a good ride with it. Like, you know,
the highs are high.
Downs. Yeah, the highs are super high.
That's a great point. The highs are super high, and then the lows definitely got me a little bit. Yeah.
Right now, I'm on a low. I'm just like, fuck that.
Yep. I traveled that trail. I went through that. There were a couple times when I almost hung up the controller and walked away for sure. But I soon got through that and like, okay, all right, that wasn't, I guess, so bad. But I traveled the trail.
I'm just hoping there's just not another stretch like this. It's a good.
You haven't gotten to the fucking
the building part you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say this section is a good like hour and an hour and a half to get through the whole thing, but it's been more like 5 hours for me. So you get through the whole thing in a decent amount of time. But yeah, it's anyway. Stellar Blade's great, guys. I really like it.
It is. It's great.
I think it is.
If there's no more Stellar Blade, I was just going to say I'm still plucking away at Final Fantasy, but nothing more to add. Still plucking away at it.
Okay.
I'm rumming it down.
I'm plucking away at my leverless arcade stick.
Yes.
I'm literally spending like 2 to 3 hours a day just doing special
Practicing?
moves and shit. Yeah, like
Just trying to learn how to use it.
Still Tekken?
This is still no, not Tekken. Like I did Garo today, Mark of the Wolves.
Okay, wow.
Because they're not super like loosey goosey with the input motions. For example, like with Street Fighter 6, you can hold down and hit left twice while you're holding down, and that'll be an uppercut. It's super loose. Like that's not the right way to do it. But you can.
That's not going to train you really well.
Yeah, it's not going to train you really well. So I went to a different game that it was a little more strict. So so I've been doing that, and this is reminiscent of me just fucking banging out special moves like back in the day, trying to learn this shit. So I'm relearning how to fucking play video games in real time.
Learning to walk again.
Seriously. But I'm so much farther along than I was like the first couple attempts. And I attribute some of that to my health. Because
good.
Wait,
did you say further away or further along?
Further along, I guess.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do like WASD stuff. I wasn't able to type very well because my hands would shake. I had neuropathy super bad, but it's getting a lot better now.
Good.
Things are like way under control. And anyway,
nice, excellent.
I'm able to control that stuff a little bit better, and my hands are listening. So and I'm getting to a place where I'm excited to be relearning stuff. If that makes any sense.
Good to hear. No, totally.
So yeah, it's been fun playing around with that damn thing, and that's why I ordered a couple more.
Yeah.
All right.
Retail therapy.
Good stuff. Yep. Let's see, Jeff. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it on my side. I don't think I played anything else this week.
I didn't play anything else either. I think I played a little bit more of Tau, but not enough to really like talk about it much more. I'm thinking maybe I'm like another hour into it. It's something that like if I feel like I need, like if I'm going to sit down and play Stellar Blade, I need a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So if I only have like a half an hour or something like that, I'll sit down and play Tau instead. So certainly
Zao.
still enjoying that. And
In case anyone's wondering.
Is it Zao? I thought it was TAU. Tau. Is it Zao? Okay.
ZAU. ZAU? I don't know how you
I thought it was
Zed. Like the bad guy from Power Rangers?
Zed.
Zed.
Oh, it is Zao. My bad. Yeah. So Tales of Kinzara. We'll go with that. Tales of Kinzara. Yeah, still plugging away at that. Let's see. I mentioned this in Discord. I got the kind of just I didn't happen across it, but I happened across like two of the most difficult trophies in. Look
at these trophies here; they're so difficult. I just picked them up.
In Beat Saber. So the two like most difficult trophies that are on that list are get perfect on 15 different songs on expert and play the game for 24 hours like in song. And yeah, so I happened across those two. Like while I was playing, I ran into both of them.
That's a long time for one song. Holy shit.
No, come on.
Even over time, that's a long time. 24 hours?
24 hours in,
Which song was it?
A song. No, it's in all of the songs. So it's 24 hours of playtime, but it's playtime while you're in
While
song.
you're actually playing. I thought it was like one song you played the equivalent of 24 hours.
No. I don't think I could do that, but it's because, like
how much do you love Hit Me Baby one more time, Chris?
Hit Me Baby 4,000 more times.
4,000 more times, right? But yeah, so after I got those two, I was like, I wonder what the platinum is for this. And it was like, get perfect on 15 different songs on hard. And I already had done it on expert. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just do that real quick.
Shit.
And then the last one I got was do the tutorial. I'm like, okay. I'll go back and do the tutorial.
Do this one.
That's
I got
It's too
this.
slow for you. You can't do it. You're too used to going fast.
Right, exactly. So like the tutorial trophy pops up, and then right after it is the platinum. I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. But yeah, it's still, I'm slowly trying to learn all of the songs that are all the new stuff that's been put in since I started playing again. There's a Dragon Force song in there that fuck, like there's no way.
The Guitar Hero band, right?
Oh yeah, and,
Pretty much,
it's just as hard in Beat Saber too. I've beaten the song on hard, but I get to expert, and quite literally I can't even get like 10-15 seconds into the song before I fail out. It's really tough.
It's like flailing around like the
I can't
Star
get through
Wars
15
lightsaber
seconds.
kid.
Yeah.
It's
you can get through one of their songs
just
listening to it for 15 seconds.
But yeah, it's Beat Saber is fantastic. It is easily in my opinion, the best VR experience you can have. Full stop. So
you did great, kid. Good job.
Let me see, what else have I been playing? I think that's it though. Yeah. So cool. Jason, anything else on your end?
No, man, just plucking away.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's distractions. What do we got for news then, Jeff?
Oh, we got some news, boys. Normally we don't like to talk about layoffs and stuff like that, but this week is more.
We're fucking bitter this time.
Yeah, we'll keep that one second because I have a feeling that one's gonna get a little more talk. But there was also some Helldivers discourse happening the last couple of weeks. Now I'll start off by saying what I know, then I'm gonna pass over to Chris because Chris probably follows it closer than any of the minutia of that kind of stuff. So I know there was an issue with Sony wanted to roll in PSN to the PC players to have them sign into a PSN account. So what happened was it was originally going to be a requirement at launch, but there was issues with servers, so they got rid of that in order to make it playable for everyone for crossplay and everything. So then they came out and said, I think by the end of May, PC players had to register for a PSN account in order to play the game. And there was a huge uproar, which is fine. Yes, it only takes a couple minutes to do that. But the big issue was there's like 170 countries that you physically cannot sign up for a PSN account.
177. But like, I was like, what's the big fucking deal? It's like you sign up for the account. You just fucking click this thing and it's done. What are you bitching about?
Yeah. And then it turns out, that was a big problem. So a bunch of stuff happened and Sony eventually rolled it back and said, okay, we're no longer going to do that. Problem is they haven't relisted the game in those countries yet either. So I'm not sure if Chris got into more of that. But Chris, what have you been following here? What's a scuttlebutt?
So I think you covered pretty much everything that I know about it too. I'm not sure if it's been pushed out in the countries that it got pulled down from either. But I do like what the Helldivers team have. I like what they've done in kind of response to this. They to an extent.
Got fired?
Well, so first of all, let me give props to the community manager for Helldivers, because honestly, I probably would have done the same thing and probably would have also got fired in this situation. But one of the things that he was saying was if you want to show your disdain for this issue, then go negatively review the game on Steam and then ask for refunds. And Steam was giving refunds, like people with they were 200 hours of gameplay in the game, and they were giving refunds, right? Yeah. So yeah, dude got fired for that. And
he was also very passive aggressively being like, this isn't our problem, not our problem, but this isn't our idea. Basically taking shots at Sony, who published their game, basically being like, this is not us. Like we did. And
I have a feeling Sony had
the ones who made them pull the trigger. 100%.
Sony absolutely pushed them over to the edge to fire that guy, because there was actually one message that he posted that said, someone had commented to him, I thought you got fired, and his response was almost. and then mentioned something else, and then later on we find out he gets fired, right?
He probably got the stern talking to from Arrowhead, and then
right, and then
maybe lay low
Arrowhead
for a bit. Yeah.
Right. Arrowhead got some pressure put on him and ended up firing the guy. But so I'm that's kind of shitty, but I do love that Arrowhead is kind of taking it all in stride.
They were great with it.
Yeah. And they if you haven't seen it, in Helldivers, one of the cosmetic items you can get is a cape. And they straight up, there's two different capes now that I've seen. There's one cape that essentially is several red bars, and it represents like the negative reviews that were put in that caused all of this uproar and got everything reversed. And then there's another one that has the 4 red bars, and then on the last one it's the red going down as well as the blue positive going up.
Operation Cleanup.
Operation Cleanup, yeah. And that's probably my favorite thing about the whole thing, is that they in game they said that the major order was to go back and update your Steam reviews, make them positive again, and everybody got medals for that shit.
They got a real life major order.
Exactly, and they took it all in stride. It's been pretty it's been impressive how well they've that they've dealt with that. Arrowhead has dealt with it. And so as far as like the whole thing with Sony, that was just, I don't know. I agree with Jason that sure, it wouldn't be, I don't think it's as big of a deal. It was supposed to be there at the start.
Please don't pin that on me. I'm completely in the opposite.
No. But as soon as you find out that the game is no longer available to certain countries, that is a deal breaker. Like you absolutely need to just fucking fix your shit like that. You have to back off all that. Like you are literally limiting your player base, and that is not cool at all. Hey, there are these dudes.
They paid for the game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, true, so it's not like it's a free to play. That's like we're now closing your country. No, they paid full price and no longer, and they still can't now. I'm hoping they get it rectified, but we do have Greg Little. He chimes in on the Helldivers stuff here. He says the Helldivers issues exploded due to poor communication. Arrowhead owned up to their part about turning off PSN requirements and not being upfront about them being reinstated. However, Sony should never have listed Helldivers 2 for sale in any region they weren't supporting PSN.
Yeah,
true. I think Arrowhead was able to win back the community with their explanations. I don't think Sony intended to do anything shady, but they underestimated the PC market, as well as there being some oversight on releasing on PC.
I 100% agree with that.
I disagree with one part of that. It depends on what you call shady, because there's one reason why Sony wanted to do this and one reason only.
Well, I mean, they wanted everybody's info and they wanted a credit card on file.
No, they wanted to inflate PSN numbers because it's the end of the quarter and there's an investment meeting coming up. They want those engagement numbers. The vast majority of people playing Helldivers are on PC. If you can say our PSN grew X amount, that is huge. Because as much as sales are important, everything's about engagement these days. Like Twitter's about engagement, YouTube's about engagement, or podcasts is about engagement. They want to see those numbers. Those numbers want to go up. And I wouldn't. I think they're doing it for what's it called? Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, they're kind of walking back a little bit on that as well because people are getting ahead of that and saying that my country doesn't allow PSN. We give me a refund, and I guess Steam is like already saying, okay, we will do allow that. Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder if what they're like just still going forward. They just have to be clear as fuck and be like, it's needed or not needed.
It's stupid and it's kind of ignorant, I think, on their part.
Yeah.
So
and everyone does it though.
I will say this, like when it comes to the PSN thing, I think it would have been fine if they just would have made it optional. Like there are absolutely people that would have signed up for PSN just to fix the fucking friends list issues. Yeah. Like to generate the fucking code all the time. Like, let's connect on Helldivers. Oh, well, we have to be on at the same time so I can generate a code and send it to you, and you can type it in Otherwise, my code's going to change. It's just to fix the friends list issues is enough of a reason for me to do it. Like if I wasn't already on PSN, right?
Yeah. The only issue is the country thing. That's the only.
Yeah, and that's obviously a huge one. So
Microsoft did the same thing when they tied in Xbox Gold into Game Pass. That was to inflate the Game Pass numbers. That's exactly why they did that. It wasn't to give something more to those people or to cut off that tier. No, they were like, fuck, if we take in those people who haven't up to Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, because right now they're separate. They have two separate revenue streams and they're not counted as one. They rolled in gold and all of a sudden Xbox Game Pass subscriptions go up by it wasn't even that much. I think they thought it was going to be a lot more. I think it ended up being 6 million or something like that. But that's those numbers, man. Higher numbers they want to see. And higher numbers is not what they're getting. Because
oh no.
Microsoft this week announced they're shutting down four studios. Two of them
one is getting rolled into
exactly.
One's getting rolled into Elder Scrolls Online or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 are getting totally shuttered, and I had it right on here, but now there we go. So before the big ones, the ones that people might not be familiar with is Alpha Dog Studios. They are closing. Alpha Dog Studios.
Okay.
Is it Alpha Dog Games?
I want to say yes, and I want to say that whatever they said during the press conference.
That Booty fucked up the name, didn't he?
Yeah.
So did I. Yes. So I have no idea. But I mean, you're the CEO. They should have got that right.
Right.
You're closing them down. You should at least get the studio's name. Probably. So yeah, it probably is Alpha Dog Games. They're the ones who made Mighty Doom. That's the mobile Doom game.
Okay.
Did you guys remember that game?
Nope.
Probably not. It didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, it was like a top-down Doom. It was one of those kind of gotcha type stuff. Roundhouse Games is the one that's not closing down. They're going to be joining ZeniMax Online to work on Elder Scrolls Online stuff.
Okay.
And possibly probably Fallout 76. And the two big ones are Arcane Austin. Redfall and Masterpiece.
Okay, but
that one was kind of written in stone,
I guess.
I think.
Yeah. Their track record is great. Their last game. And okay, before we go, might as well cover Austin now. My issue with Austin is they didn't want to make Redfall from the beginning. They were forced into that situation. First by ZeniMax, and then by Microsoft not canceling it and them going ahead with the project. Mm-hmm. They get penalized. They made the Dishonored 1, I think, expansion. They did Prey.
They co-developed a lot of shit. Yeah, Dishonored and stuff.
They co-developed a lot of the stuff with Arcane. With the Arcane Leon. Yep. But they're gone. And the one that hurts, the one that I'm really fucking upset about.
This is crazy.
Is Tango Gameworks.
The fuck you.
The fuck you.
What?
Dude.
How can you make an Hi-Fi Rush and get fucking canceled? Holy shit in Christ.
But you know what? What we really need is smaller games that get us attention and a lot more awards.
This is the issue, and this is what pisses me off. Layoffs, they do happen. They happen everywhere. This fucking industry is a shit show right now with how often this is happening. But don't, in public, praise a studio, say, we're happy with Tango Gameworks, we're absolutely happy with Hi-Fi Rush and met all the sales metrics that we wanted, blah, blah, blah. We really need to have a better presence in Japan. We need to invest more in Japanese studios. And this is, just shortly after
on a silver platter.
Here it is. You fucking have that. Yes, their games have been decent. They haven't been pure bangers. I think besides Hi-Fi Rush, I think it's fucking awesome. But Ghostwire Tokyo, it's got its fans.
Yeah.
The Evil Within games, I didn't play them. I'm not sure if you guys have.
A lot of people like those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hi-Fi means a lot to me for other reasons besides just being a good game. And they fucking closed them down. And a day later, Matt Booty says we need to have smaller game studios that can work on, smaller type games that are more critically acclaimed and do like
how
you literally
tone
had
deaf
that.
can you be?
Like
Jesus.
Oh my! And at Insult Entry, the day they shut these down, they announced their fire controller with a tagline "Feel the burn."
I don't think Microsoft has the right anymore to put on any more of those. What do they call them? Those ID4 indie press conferences. Like the second you have an indie game on there that is like an exclusive Game Pass game, every single person in the audience is going to be like, okay, well, this is going to release and then this person's going to get canceled. If I'm at Ninja Theory, I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen?
I'm shitting my pants.
What the fuck is going to happen? Because that game is going to be sold it's going to be on Game Pass, and it's only going to be sold because it's probably going to be a short game, probably sold for $50 or $60. So it's not even going to be it's not even going to be a full price game. That game is not going to make its money back based on how long it's taken for it to be developed.
Oh, it's definitely not making its money back. And it's a niche game. It's not a big franchise to begin with.
I agree. Yeah.
They're putting it as one of their tentpoles, but it's not. It's an art house film in game form. That's what that is.
Yes,
it's what they're doing. And they've been preaching since the beginning of this generation, especially, that Game Pass gives these studios the ability to work on passion projects, to do smaller stuff, to take risks on stuff that they normally wouldn't. Bullshit, because the proof is right there. That didn't happen. I mean, I can guarantee you Hi-Fi Rush did better than Pentiment. I would bet fucking everything and their grandmother that it did better than Pentiment. And Obsidian is I know it's a different beast, but Hi-Fi Rush deserved better. And like John Johannes, like people are saying Shinji Mikami left, so they're going to be shit. Shinji Mikami he did an interview with a Japanese thing. He wanted to leave 8 years ago. Like he was done with that studio once he created it and did Evil Within. He likes to do new things constantly. He stayed on for morale and whatever. So he was already at the door. He had like almost nothing to do with Evil Within 2 and Hi-Fi Rush. It was basically, and Ghostwire. He had hardly anything to do with those.
He should have about that because Evil Within 2 was better. So whoops.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's still part of the studio. He just wasn't the lead.
Gotcha.
But I don't think that's the reason, because they knew before they acquired them that he had 1 foot out the door for the last forever. Sorry, where was I going? I had a point here that anyway, they deserve better. Hi-Fi Rush deserve better. Seeing all of them like Joe Johannes like talk, they just won a fucking BAFTA award for Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they were just saying that on Twitter, and then he tweeted out, he's like, well, I guess this is it now. I'm just like, okay, well,
I don't get it.
I don't know if they can, but if Sony was smart, they would create a new studio and pick all those guys up.
Do they have the money to do that? I mean, the whole industry is bleeding right now.
Yeah.
Sony just laid off 1,000
people are
people
scattered in the wind.
Too.
Like, what money do they need to pick those guys up? Like,
I don't know.
They would,
I would think they could probably throw something together. But
and you're starting from scratch too. You'd be paying for the talent, not the IP.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like, what have we seen recently? Like you guys said, the industry is kind of crazy right now, and it seems like a lot of what we're seeing is like developers that end up getting fucked over go to Kickstarter and put together things. So maybe they do something like that. I don't know. It doesn't always. It certainly doesn't.
I feel like that's getting saturated.
Only certain people can go to Kickstarter.
No, I agree.
If you're too big and go to Kickstarter, people are going to tell you to kick rocks.
I think having the pedigree of Hi-Fi Rush as a previous game is a good thing to throw out there. Like, I think they have a chance to do that.
Sure.
Sure.
I think they might.
Chances are they're going to scatter, Chris. Like, to be honest with you,
I would agree. They'll probably end up at like going to different studios, each one of them, but. I don't have any doubt that those guys will find new places to land, but it's a shame that they're not going to land together. The leads.
It's just like any small developer, like Double Fine, dude, like Double Fine, Compulsion, Ninja Theory, even to some extent Obsidian, if Avowed bombs, then what happens?
And it will.
Do they force them on New Vegas 2? Is that what they do? They say Fallout's the new hotness. You're doing New Vegas 2. Do they start doing that? They're doing what everyone said that they said they wouldn't do. They buy Activision Blizzard. They're becoming Activision Blizzard is what they're doing. They said they want to focus on more popular, known IP, bigger game, whatever. And it's like that's the exact opposite. And I have a theory. It's not my theory. I think it's a lot of people have the same theory, and it's a lot of even analysts saying this is when they put in the bid to buy Activision Blizzard King, they got the okay. They got the money from Satya Nadella. Once that went through and how much trouble they had to go through to do it, the Xbox team, like Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Satya said, no. Like, I'm the captain basically now. Like, this is Microsoft. Like, I'm calling the shots. We're not making money now, and we don't get an ROI on this $70 billion investment. We're not doing it. And they're calling the shots, and it's out of the other guy's hands. They just have to be like, I guess, because nothing adds up. And Satya's been pretty, like, he hasn't said shit about Xbox for years. And then once the Activision Blizzard King deal goes through, he's doing interviews. He's making comments about the Xbox division. He's saying, like, there's been days where Phil will do an interview and Satya would say the opposite the next day. It's like they're a two-headed monster, but the two heads are facing different ways and fucking chasing different squirrels or something. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they are not on the same page at all. And they're fucked.
Can I ask you a question? You brought up Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
Do you think, and if not, how close do you think he is to being on the hot seat?
I think he's going to resign.
Yeah, I think he will.
I think he's done before the end of this year.
I don't think he had. I think he probably had put some words in to try and prevent at least some of these studios closing, and he was just ignored. I honestly think that he's just in his situation. It's like you said, right? It's like you said, Jeff. They are going completely different directions. When I look at Phil Spencer, I'm like this dude. He cares about gaming. Like that's what he seems to care about. And Microsoft is a corporation. They don't give a shit.
No,
all they care about
is a corporate guy in the end. Like he gets paid to make these decisions. He is the head of the division, so he's going to get all the flack, and I think he deserves a lot of it. Sure. But in the end, Satya, he's the one who calls he's the one who says yes or no. And I think a lot of the things now, there's even rumors that internally they're discussing whether or not to put Call of Duty in Game Pass or not. That was supposed to be a guarantee, and now maybe not.
If they turn back on that, oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Why haven't we?
Oh, Game Pass will have the biggest black eye in the world.
They are like, honestly, I think Satya is going to turn it into the next Activision Blizzard. Xbox is going to start putting everything on PlayStation. I do think they're going to stick with hardware for at least one more cycle because what I think they're going to do, they're going to have the really high tier. And what I mean high tier, it's going to be directed at the hardest of hardcore console gamers. And then they're going to have the low tier, which would be like what the Series S is. So it would be like it would be like whatever their top tier is, that's going to be fucking pricey, but it's going to have the power. Then it's going to be like the PS6. And then whatever their third one is, and they're just going to put everything on everything, and they don't care about how many of those units they sell because they're just going to sell across everything. I think it's going to happen. Like at first, I was kind of like, I don't know. Now I'm thinking it's going to, because
I'm kind of with you on that
all the money.
Yeah, I think for them it's more about the hardware is kind of a cherry on top, because in reality they don't, like, if you think about how much they murdered. When you think about how much they make off hardware, they don't make that much, right?
No.
So,
they don't want to sell more hardware
or software. They don't make money on software either, man.
No, not on selling actual software. No, most of their revenue is Game Pass.
Everything's coming from Game Pass right now.
Yeah, they don't sell a lot of their first party stuff at all, and third parties don't sell that well either. So they don't want to sell consoles. I mean, the problem, like, Sony has it's a weird problem to have, because the more consoles Sony sells, the more money they lose on selling them, but they sell more. So like if they had to raise the price of the PS5 because their margins got so bad. So they had no choice. So it's like, but Microsoft is no different in that they don't make money off hardware. The problem is they're not selling enough to make up that loss at all in software or accessories. So they don't want to sell hardware right now. They would rather you not buy an Xbox Series X. They want you to buy an S because it's way cheaper for them to manufacture.
They probably make money off of that one.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's a lot, but I'm sure they make some.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
The industry is just so different from like just the previous generation. You know, I think the introduction of Game Pass really changed a lot, and it changed a lot for like Microsoft's goals. Like you said, it used to be about you sell the consoles so you can sell the games, right? And having exclusives was the way to get your consoles sold, right? Yeah. And then Game Pass came along, and all their console exclusives end up on PC immediately, right? Which deters people from buying Xbox consoles. This generation is the first generation that I haven't bought an Xbox because I have a PC.
We have a PC, yeah.
Why do I need to, right? So, and I can do PC Game Pass too. So it's really a lot, especially for Microsoft, the industry this generation has just completely changed.
Yeah, and they make a lot off Game Pass. Like it's simple math. They bring in like over $400 million a month, but how much are they paying to get games on there? How much are their games? Yeah, because it's not cheap, and they have to fund their own games. So it's such a two totally different mindsets from all three platform holders. Actually, you got Nintendo who do their own thing, but they're damn good at it, and I don't think they've ever lost money off hardware in the last 2 decades. And
I think they lost money on they lost money on the N64, and that was it. I think N64 and GameCube, and that was it. Maybe, yeah.
The last two times they went for power when they went for
times they went to power, they lost money on the consoles. After that, they were just like, no, fuck it, we're not going to even try and compete anymore. You know, and honestly, that's worked for them because Nintendo has the brand and the exclusives, right? That's what it's mostly about, is those exclusives to do that. You know, and think about how family friendly the Switch is. I have 4 of them in my house. I have fucking 4 Switches in my house. You know, and you know, it's
Jason's got 2 new ones. That's a leverless joke.
Yep. No, I got that one. Yeah. And I think honestly, that's worked really well for them, and I don't see them changing that at all. You know, they've already. Okay, actually, I'm gonna add something to news real quick and segue into this. What do you guys think of like the big deal that was made about Nintendo announcing that they're going to announce a successor to the Switch? Like,
we know that because flabbergasted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's just like I think the like.
Well, investors. I don't know. Right? Everything's about the investors.
And the funny thing is like they said, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the successor to the Switch, you know, sometime this fiscal year. I'm like, that's like 10 months. Like we have no idea when that's gonna be. So I don't know. I thought it was funny that there was a lot of blow up about that. Like a lot of people were like, oh, they announced a successor. And it's like, I mean, we knew they were gonna bring something out. It's like, why is this such a surprise?
Maybe the Switch 2 will be as powerful as the Series S.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. That's where it'll be. That's where it'll be. Series S.
Yeah, actually, if it is that power, I would take that. That'd be pretty cool. I don't think it will be.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah.
No, I have the Series S. It's pretty good.
New Zelda would look pretty good on an Xbox. So yeah.
I mean, I think that's what they would probably be aiming for. You know, is I would say Series S type like level of power. And I think they could probably get there too. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
All right. Well, before we finish out there, we do have some community thoughts on the matter here as well.
Yeah.
On
This one comes from
the matter.
Yes, on the Microsoft stuff. This is Musabi. Others may know him as Necro from back in the day.
Oh,
Hey,
what's up,
Nick.
Necro?
Yeah, he says hardware-wise, it's my favorite Xbox ever. There was a time where it got more play than my PS5, but they're slowly eroding my excitement over the last year or so with a lot of the changes they've implemented. Great hardware and games, no faith in leadership or direction of the brand.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. This one comes from a Dark Magical Man. He says, I am not doom and gloom, but I'm pulling back and trying not to keep all my games on Xbox and starting to build up my library for PlayStation. Then he also adds in for Helldivers. Helldivers is a phenomenal game, but I really want to play it with friends, so I haven't really had to worry about the situation. I don't think I quite get that last part, but yes, it is phenomenal.
Agreed.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's saying he wants to play. If he wants people to play with it, fuck yeah, just come join us, man. We'll play.
Come to Discord. Just say hell diving. We're there.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve, or Dark Magical Man. James H. He says, we'll never see a sequel to Ghostwire. Ghost parading through Shibuya was one of the more interesting set pieces I've seen in a game. When Mikami, Yoko Taro, Yu Suzuki, and co. all retire for good, I fear the auteur video game at that point. I fear the auteur video game at that point. Oh, I can't see what he's saying. So basically, when he leaves, he thinks that style of game will also leave, and says maybe that's when he checks out too.
Oh.
Those are all three different directors at the age of those games. Basically, he's saying well, might be out. I mean, he could be right. Who that's scary. Has Yu Suzuki worked on anything? I'm trying to think if he worked on anything lately. Check
Stocks and bonds and stuff.
Yeah, is that Nick? Yeah, is he the Sonic guy? I thought that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think yeah. That's right. Isn't he in jail or was in jail?
Just about to.
Just Dan. He says, at the moment, I have no confidence in Xbox can write itself. I see the reasoning behind the others, but closing Tango post Hi-Fi Rush, a game boosting the exact IP, variety, and quality they kept promising, along with the looming loss of exclusives and GP and Game Pass changes, might be a bridge too far. I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah. The whole bringing games to another thing. They can say it's only those 4 games, but it doesn't matter. They did it, and people are going to have that hurry up and wait aspect to any Xbox game now. Like this June 9th, when they have their showcase, there's going to be a shitload of people that are just going to be like, can't wait till that comes on PlayStation 5. And I don't blame them, because whether it happens or not, it's their fault they instilled that mentality or the chance that could happen, and people are going to take that chance. It's the fucking wait for Game Pass thing, but with like sales releases for console releases for game release. I'll just wait for Game Pass. I'll just wait for PS Plus. Now you're taking that and having consumers think the same thing about every game that you release. So
yeah, I think the one thing that's so there's we often compare Game Pass and PS Plus, I guess Extra, which is the middle tier. And I think I feel like the reason that we haven't seen, and we might see it. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but the reason we haven't seen something like this happen with Sony is because they haven't gone the route of putting their biggest IPs on Extra right away, because that's where their sales come from. That's where their revenue comes from. You know, it's like they're not relying on Extra to be their only revenue generator, whereas Microsoft has put all of their revenue needs within Game Pass. You know,
that's also the value proposition too, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, agreed.
Yeah,
but
that's where Game Pass excels over it, and it's a no-brainer. Agreed. And the hard part is like that's what you got to do to make it worth it. I didn't have Game Pass until they started doing that. Once they started including the first-party stuff day one, it's a no-brainer. Would I like Sony to do it? Fuck yeah, because if I'm going to be subbing to PS Plus Extra anyway, of course I would want to have that. But I'm going to buy their first party stuff regardless that I want. So it doesn't. Yeah, it's
honestly,
rocking a
even
hard
if it's
place.
on, it's like even if it's on extra, like if God of War showed up day one on extra, you and I would still buy it, right?
Oh yeah, there's certain franchises that I'm going to buy
you're still gonna
regardless
buy,
if
right?
it's on a thing. Yeah, for sure. And God of War is one of those.
Mhm.
What Ghost of Tsushima, would that have been one? No. God of War,
If
yes.
it's
It would've been
free,
for
I'm
me.
just gonna
You
get
would
the
have
free
pre-ordered
version.
that game if you knew it was coming on PlayStation Pass.
I might not have
Pre-order what?
pre-ordered it, but I would
wouldn't
absolutely
pre-order
buy
it,
it
but
at
I'd
one
still
point or
buy it.
another. Yeah.
Yeah,
But still-
I'm with you, Jay.
I bought Halo Infinite. It had a steelbook, so I fucking bought it. Mind you,
that's
I bought
different.
it after I beat it. But
I
yeah.
get the steel. I get the steel. I support that.
Jeff, your obsession with steelbooks is never going to be not funny to me.
I did buy a Plague Tale Requiem as well, and that's on Game Pass. I bought that again after I beat it, just because it's one of those games that I want to have because it's going to leave the service eventually, and I'm like, I will play that again. I love that game. But yeah, not every game, Jason. Not every game that would do it, but games that like series that I want to have the collection, I will still buy physically. If it was just digitally, no. I won't. I tend not to buy them digitally if I've already had them on a subservice. But physically,
Yeah, same here.
especially maybe later on, I definitely do with certain franchises. Stupidly Epic, also known as fuck.
All right.
Well, he said, I'm sure you've seen a bunch of my tweets already.
Yep.
But he didn't actually reply to the actual thing. And sorry, man, I can't go into your sorry, Prime, I can't go into your Twitter right now and
Because it's
search
gross.
them.
Yeah,
I should have done that prior because it's gross. And I'm putting my hand in your X, man.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of X-Men, the last episode. Woo!
I just saw
God.
5.
So-
Don't.
No, I'm not going to say
Okay,
anything.
all
Just
right.
saying,
Thank you.
woo.
I just wanted to let you know where I was.
I was just about to ask you if you started it yet, since we have one episode left.
Yes.
It's pretty fantastic, right?
Oh, it's so good.
It's
I
so
did finish Fallout since like the
So-
sudden change to TV. I did finish Fallout. That's great. It was great. I can't wait for the next season.
Before X-Men 97 came out, I was just concerned.
I
that
was
it
a
wasn't gonna
little
be,
boy, but now I'm a man.
I was concerned. I was concerned that it wasn't going to be better than 92, and then it was. And then 5 episodes in, I'm like, "There's no way this is going to end as good as it began." And now we're at the end, and I'm like, "They have ruined anything the MCU could ever do for X-Men because
Not ruined.
Like,
I hope it's
show-
a jumping off point. I pray to God
I
it's a
do
jumping
too.
off point.
I do too. I just feel
Oh.
like it's so good. I just feel like we're doomed to
Well, I'm
have
concerned.
an X-Men movie and be like, the cartoon was way better. Like
Yeah.
immediately.
Oh no,
just
that's
be like,
absolutely going to happen. You know,
Oh, man.
it's absolutely going to happen.
and that is a good point you brought up, Jeff. Bo DeMeo he was fired before the season premiered.
Like a week
Yeah.
before the season premiere.
Yeah.
What kind of picture does that paint? Oh, fuck.
It doesn't. And if he was the driving force behind the creative direction of the show,
Yeah.
that's a concern for next season.
Yeah,
It is.
but they did do 2 seasons though, so he
Oh,
did
really?
do the
Okay.
writing for the second season. So they did 2 seasons one. So we should get at least 2 good seasons out of this.
Oh, I have a feeling I know where next season's going to, and I can't wait. Let's go.
So you said they're about to do the last episode?
It's the finale's next week. Yeah,
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now I can binge it.
Do it. It's
Do it.
so good.
Now I can binge it.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, anything
Sniper
else,
Maverick
boys?
wanted to say some stuff too out of it and other shadows. And again, I don't want to go through this while we're on the air. I'll just say that for the most part, he agrees with everything that's already been talked about. Snipe. So there you go. I took all your
You're-
thoughts,
you're
Snipe, and
included,
retroactively applied them.
Hey,
Yep.
Sniper. Thank you.
Also, your Twitter
Love
is
you, buddy.
gross.
His ex
Also, more
is gross.
Helldivers.
Well, that's it. I have no faith in that brand right now. So we'll see what happens down the line. But
It's hard to say.
boy.
It's hard-
how
hard to
to
think about.
stick a middle finger right up at your employees and your
there
fan
was-
base at the
there
same
was some
time.
of that. Yeah, there was some of that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fuck.
I think
Oh.
I think what we see with what happens with Ninja Theory is going to be big. Like that's
Yeah. And
it's going to be a big indicator of what direction Microsoft is going.
mhm. They're not happy. The head of Austin Arcane Leon, the Blade, they're working on Blade. He had some things to say on Twitter. I should have captured it, but
was he the guy who said "allow me to be human" for a moment? And it was that list of tweets.
I think so. I don't remember exactly what he said, but another like a
really
lawyer
good.
Twitter account said that this is how you get fired from a corporation or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, they're not going to fire him. I mean, if they do fire him, then good. Yeah, then get the fuck out of there. Yeah, I get it. I get why people are fucking leaving that company right now. Just, no. So you guys want to get a studio? This is the second time I'm going to ask this, guys. You guys want to start a game studio? You want to get picked up by a publisher?
Nope.
I don't want to get picked up by a publisher. Do I want to start a studio? Yes. But
yes. Well, yeah.
First, we're gonna
First,
we're gonna start a restaurant, and then we'll start a game studio. Two very, very easily successful businesses.
Very successful.
Yeah.
And they might as well invest in some Bitcoin too while we're at it. Just go ahead and do that. There's a new one starting up.
Well, yeah, we got to make money, right? I mean,
we actually made.
We got to bankroll this somehow.
Yeah, it's we made our own coin.
It's, there we go.
Chorny corny.
Chorny coiny. All right, let's stop this shit. And this next week we have better shit.
Actually, I think Coffee Gold would work better.
Oh, I like Coffee Gold. I like Coffee Gold.
That's good stuff, man.
Coffee Gold.
That's good.
All right, it's time. And on that note, let's wrap this shop up, man. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. Like, subscribe, and comment. All those things really, really help us out. Check out our link tree at interactivedistractions.com, and then click on the Discord link. Come over and chat with us, or tell us that you're playing Helldivers, and we'll play Helldivers with you.
I will. At least I'm not kidding. I will too. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. And if you like what we're doing and you want to support us, you can check out the Patreon as well. And I think that's about it. Oh, and follow us on Twitter. I'm InDis Chris. Travis is Travis D Bomb. Jason is Unastrike, and Jeff is
Unastrike. I've known you for fucking like 12 decades.
What did I say?
You said Unastrike. It's Unistrike. It's Unistrike.
I thought I did say Unistrike.
No, you said Unastrike.
I know it's Unistrike. I made a mistake. I apologize.
There's Unistrike.
And InDis Geoff.
Geoff.
What?
Okay, there we go.
It's coffee, not Geoff. No.
It's Goofy.
It's Goofy.
So until next time, my name is Chris.
I'm Travis.
I'm Jason.
I'm Goofy.
Play your games, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you later, Uno Strike.